Do you think the red pill's dying? That's something that both of us have spent a little bit of time orbiting in one form or another, either you debating it or me getting abused by it. What do you think's happening with the red pill at the moment?
Yeah, I think most stuff has probably like a 2 to 4 year shelf life for internet content. And I think it kind of came and it kind of went. Andrew Tate and the pre-trial or pre-indictment imprisonment probably hurt a bit because it took away a lot of the publicity. I think that the nature of like the conversations for the red pill stuff, I think was really bad. I think the content strategy from a lot of the red pillars, I think was very subpar.
How so?
For me, the way that I've stayed fresh and relevant for 15 years of content creation is because I'm always finding like new stuff to talk about or a new angle to kind of like hit something from, or like I'm kind of moving on with contemporary events. I feel like for Red Pill stuff, I feel like I could have written the script for those shows after being on 2 of them, to where it's like, okay, guys, today we're going to talk about, does body count matter? Do guys value you for the amount of money that you make? Do women fuck over men in divorce? Are men lonely because they're simps? It was like the same topics for like over a year, such that it became like a meme where when I would show up on a show, some of my fans would do like bingo cards of like, okay, well, when is the body count question coming up?
Hypergamy.
Or, yeah, are women hypergamous or not? And then it's like, and it's funny because like the questioning would always, there's a fallacy called all roads lead to Rome, I think. If there's not, there should be one. Where basically literally, no matter how somebody answers a question, it always goes back to what you want it to. So I might say to a girl, have you ever dated a guy? You say you don't care if guys at all. Have you ever dated a guy that's 5'5"? And the girl might be like, no, I haven't. Because you hate short guys, you know? You won't. And she's like, oh, no. Okay, have you ever dated a guy that's 5'5"? Yes, I have. Oh, when? When I was in high school, I actually dated a guy that's 5'5". Really? Are you together anymore with him? Well, no. Oh, you dumped him because he was a short king, right? Like, yeah. Or it's like, are you dating a guy that's 5'5"? He's like, yeah, I am now. It's like, oh, really? Is he rich? No, he's not that rich. Does he have a huge dick? Yeah, his dick is pretty big. Oh, hypergamous. You just want the pool boy. You're probably gonna, find a rich guy and stuff like there's always Andrew Tate actually is the perfect example of the all roads lead to Rome. Okay. When Andrew Tate had the pre-trial imprisonment, there were never going to be charges because it was all a scam. It was just a sham kangaroo court. Now that there are charges, if there wouldn't have been charges and he would have been released with no charges, no indictment, it was because obviously it was a scam, right? But now that there are charges, well, obviously because it's a scam, of course they're going to make up charges. So now they're going to go to court, and if they go to court and they get, if they go to court and they beat the charges, it's because it was bullshit the whole time. But if they go to court and they're convicted, well, it's because it's bullshit the whole time. They were going to make it up always. So literally, no matter what happens, it's always because of your particular prediction of the world. Yes. So you end up with these prediction models that will predict every single event, which means they don't actually predict anything, but it allows you to escape the cognitive dissonance of your predictive model not being correct. So you don't have to worry if you've got a good view, like a good blueprint of the world, because literally, no matter what happens, you've always got a way to make sense of it in the future.
Well, this is why that 4-step process of when was the last time someone publicly admitted that they were wrong? When was the last time they surprised you? If someone came out and had a discussion about this and was like, do you know what it is? I actually think that a lot of the time I do actually see girls in relationships with guys that hypergamously I wouldn't predict that they were in a relationship with. That guy just seems to have game. It's not really about the fact that he's tall or fit or rich or has status or any of these things. He just seems to be like a really nice guy, and she wants to have a family and he ends up being, you go, I wasn't expecting that. That was something that would have surprised me. You think, okay, well, that shows an evolution of talking points, but I don't know how many times. And this is why,
Stop in there and welcome to Mika Reaction Reviews, where reaction reviews to things on the internet. We are here with Chris Williamson and the lovely African-American woman that is Destiny. I like Destiny. I know probably some of you don't like Destiny because of his ideology, whatever. I don't care. I wanted to read a comment before I say my commentary, and then we're going to continue with the video. One commenter who commented 2 days ago said, I hate the fact that the Red Pill is known nowadays because of Andrew Tate and people like him. The Red Pill movement was way stronger long before, in the Reddit days, before it was banned. It was also very different. It helped and saved a lot of men, and it's shamed it's been corrupted by people like Tate, and now people only know it for this. I agree with him. I think that's called the Manosphere, and I think it's still strong today, and I think it's still going on. Chris Williamson, in my opinion, is someone I think I would put in a Manosphere box. That's why I always, when I talk about the Red Pill, pickup artists, and so Manosphere, I always say, like, I kind of separate it. I think they're branches of the same thing, but they're not all the same thing. The Manosphere tends to have more deep dive, intellectual, nuanced conversation that is still geared to help men, and I think a lot of the advice that men in the Manosphere give is for men, and it's not hyper focused on demoralizing women. It's not hyper focused on pointing fingers and blaming something on someone else. It's just more focused on giving men information and advice to help them be better men. I think there's a difference between the Manosphere, the Red Pill, incel, and pickup artist. I just think it's kind of branches of the same thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you actually agree with me. There was another comment in here that said, Red Pill got co-opted by a bunch of weirdos, just like Destiny's wife. Ooh, a little dig there. And you might not like Destiny because of his lifestyle, and you might say like his lifestyle proves that it doesn't work, whatever. I don't care about Destiny's personal life, unless he's like, you know, hurting children or abusing someone or something like that. But I agree with that dude too. I think it got co-opted, and I honestly think that is the fault of a lot of the main faces in the beginning of the Red Pill Manosphere days, who kind of didn't gatekeep it well enough and just let any man on there who claimed to be Red Pill with a mic and with a lot of dumbass ideas just to grift and get on the trend so they can make money and sell you a course. Yeah, it's boring. It's boring. Just like a lot of the victim talking points of the left is boring. A lot of this is boring. It's the same thing. It's listening to feminists is boring because it's the same rhetoric over and over again. And to me, the Red Pill is just another victim class. It's just another victim class. It's just like feminists. They say the same thing that feminists say. It's just feminists with balls. Like feminists say you are the queen, and men say you are the prize. Women in feminist movements, they blame all societal's ills on men, patriarchy. They even blame the issues that men are struggling with on men. But the Red Pill does the same. They blame all the struggles that women are going through on women, or modern day women, or modern day feminism. The feminist is hyper focused, and this is the toxic side of feminism. I am aware that not all feminists feel this way, but the most loudest and proudest kind of do. There's over focus on demoralization of men. All men are trash, all men are dogs, you know, those mugs that said men tears, and then hyper focus on trying to demoralize women, calling them all hoes and sluts and delusional and all these things. It's the same thing. It's literally the same fucking coin. It's two sides of the same fucking coin, and it's boring. Any people whining about their oppression and their victimization is boring to me. I have no problems with people stating an issue, but the ongoing venting of it is boring. I think that's why it's failing, because again, they say the same talking points. It's the same formula. Get a bunch of OnlyFans girls on the screen. They're all 18, 19, inexperienced in life, and then you got a bunch of 30-year-old grown-ass men, sometimes in their 40s or their 50s, actual fathers on there to try to drag an 18-year-old and then be like, yeah, whoo, I'm sure alpha. And honestly, the only people that's still standing these people are young boys who have no lived experience themselves, who are usually chronically online and really need to go touch some fucking grass. And the whole OnlyFans thing is funny to me, how they like constantly, well, some of the Red Pills, not all of the Red Pills, the ones that want to seem a little bit more conservative, how bad porn is, but they're literally introducing porn to their audience by having OnlyFans girls on there, because we all seen the stats where these OnlyFans girls' numbers shoot up once they go on these podcasts, basically promoting porn and also saying porn is bad, telling you not to simp, but introducing you the product so you can simp after them. And simping and hating the thing you're simping goes hand in hand. There's a lot of guys who hate porn stars but still view their porn on a regular basis. So yeah, I think it's repetitive, and I think a lot of people are starting to be more aware that a lot of stuff that they're saying is nonsensical or hypocritical. It doesn't really make sense. We've seen all the memes. It kind of feels like they're pushing guys to even be more gay in a certain way, like don't be friends with women but sleep in the same bed with your male friends. Sexually pleasuring your girlfriend is a simp, but simping your favorite Manosphere or Red Pill guru is the way to go.
You got Myron over here laying in bed with dude, grabbing him from behind, cuddling. Look, I wanted to be open-minded. I have literally never been sitting in like a booth and laid back into another man's lap, and while he put his arms around.
If you get the same sexual gratification of dealing with a woman that you're dealing with a guy, human beings are intrinsically lazy creatures. You want to go with the path of least resistance. If you get sexual satisfaction from dudes and chicks, well, what's easier to get? Dudes. Why the hell are you going to go through the effort of courting a girl, spending money, having to meet all these prerequisites when you can go ahead and just smash a guy and be done with it?
Saying, but what is one thing they're good at sucking? What is one thing they're good at sucking?
Nigga, even gay dudes got the beat on that. What the? Bruh. No, dog. I don't know. I'm just assuming. I don't know. What? I don't know. On personal experience.
Bro,
I'm assuming.
Female vaginas are disgusting.
No, they're not.
It is hilarious that the men who are obsessed with having sex with women find their private parts disgusting.
Yeah, I think that more and more manosphere men or more intellectual men like a Dr. Jordan Peterson have kind of come out and said like some of the stuff was kind of stupid. The grandmother of the red pill has distanced himself. Sneeko has admitted that it was a giant grift. A lot of people are distancing themselves because they realize the jig is up. But right now, like a lot of the red pill videos now is just sort of like for shits and giggles and just entertainment. I think there's a lethargic. Is it lethargic? It's like a therapeutic. I forgot the name of it when it makes you feel better to see the other side that you think has been mean to you or you think who's had an easy time in life get dragged and brought down a peg. There's some sort of feeling that people get from that, and I think that's mostly what red pill entertainment is. It's just like to make you feel better. Like, yeah, take them down. Tell them she's delusional. Tell them she's gonna be a fat whore someday and she's gonna hit the wall and have 1 million cats. Ooh, it makes me feel so much better about myself. There's like a circle jerk in a comment section. It's weird. It's like a weird kink. A bunch of young men get off on this. I don't know. It's weird. But it's just as stupid as feminism, and it's just as stupid as any woke fucking groups out here. You're just as cringe as the blue-head fucking feminists that you're laughing and pointing at. It's so dumb. Oh, and the whole thing, like, all roads, like, no matter what someone says, the road still leads to your narrative type of thing. It kind of reminds me of, like, if they see, like, a video of a 40, 50-year-old woman who doesn't have kids or doesn't have a husband, and she's just living her best life, and she's dancing on the beach, and she's just minding her business. She's not telling anybody to live like her. She's not trying to promote her lifestyle. She's just filming her little dance on the beach on TikTok or some shit like that. And then they'll show this video and be like, no, she's secretly miserable. And, like, she's probably secretly taking, like, antidepressants. She's probably on psychotics. No, there's no way this is real. She's lying to you guys. It's like it has to fit the narrative that they're painting for you because most likely they're trying to sell you something. But anyway, let's continue with the video.
Still fascinated in evolutionary psychology and intersexual and intrasexual dynamics and all of that stuff. It's still very interesting to me. But the whole, like, lambasting women for having standards that are too high, that never was something that really crossed my world of content creation. But even now it's like, okay, so what else is happening? How can here's an interesting angle. Here's a much more interesting angle for me for something that's contemporary and new. This skew of young girls to the left and this skew of young guys to the right. Given the fact that most people date within their political affiliation, and because politics are becoming more important to each individual person now, that's interesting. That's like a new, okay, so what do we do? Where's this coming from and what does this mean? 30% of Democrat parents are afraid that their son or daughter would marry a Republican. That's interesting. So what about like parental pressure and how does that play into it? That's interesting. You can keep talking about the same thing, but do it with a different angle on it, continuing to just hammer away on the same points. And no, it's just fair play to be able to just have the same conversation 1,000 times, but I don't have that in my toolbox.
And before someone says the coping obvious, yes, the red pill says some right things sometimes. Big whoop. I don't know why that's always someone's mic drop. Again, the worst people on the planet, people who commit genocide, literally have said some right things sometime. I don't know why everyone always thinks that's like mic drop, got you there. But nothing they're saying is like new. They're not inventing the wheel. They're repeating things that other people have said, smarter than them and wiser than them have said long before, and they're also taking some truths and sort of perverting it. Like the idea that women are hypergamy means that every woman wants a man with a Bugatti. Hypergamy, especially if you listen to someone like Dr. Jordan Peterson, is described a lot differently. Like Dr. Jordan Peterson even shows that in studies, women will pick a man who is not as rich, but still as helpful, caring, and kind as just a super rich individual. So most women are hypergamous in that way, where they want a man who's capable over a man who just has money. Because you could have got that money in nefarious means. You could have just got lucky and became a crypto bro. You could have got a lottery. You can be a spoiled trust fund kid. That doesn't mean that you're a capable man. That doesn't mean you're a kind man. That doesn't mean you're an intellectual man or intelligent man. People have this weird idea if you have money that all those things follow through. All those things are connected to that, and it's not just like, people who are confident can be very mistaken for competence. People who say things confidently, it must be right. Like, no, it's not always the same. It's not always the case. And so they take truths and then they pervert it in a modern way. Like this fucking Western obsession of material possessions and money. Slave over a job so you can get a girl and a woman who only wants you for your money and your cars. Like, that's the type of lifestyle in the community you want to build in America.
Continuing to just hammer away on the same points. I know, it's just fair play if you have that degree of patience, maybe, to be able to just have the same conversation 1,000 times. But I don't have that in my toolbox.
The description is boring, the descriptive part, because it's the same thing over and over again. And then the prescriptive part is boring because for a lot of these movements, people don't actually give you good advice to kind of navigate it sometimes, unless you can become a top 1%er. Instead, what they try to prescribe is like a world that doesn't exist anymore. Like, this is no good because women have birth control, because women are, earning money and blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, that's not changing. So you have to give advice for the world that exists now, not tell guys you have to become a top 1%er. You need to earn so much fucking money that the traditional girls or whatever will go back to liking you. It's never advice geared towards, well, how do you navigate the modern world where women don't need men as much, where women are looking for different things in relationships? How do you navigate that? It's just like, we need to go back to the days of old and everything is messed up now because of feminism and complaining and blah, 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 blah.
That's it, guys. I thought he brought up some really good points. The whole division when it comes to politics. That's why, like, for me personally, this is not me being all black-pilled and pessimistic. I think the gender divide is going to grow wider and wider and wider in the next 10 years. I think the loneliness epidemic is going to keep booming until Westerners realize you can create community and solve your loneliness other ways besides just trying to find a romantic partner, like other countries who have very tight-knit communities. But yeah, I think that the singlehood, the sexiness, and the loneliness is going to just keep going up because now, like, the political divide. First of all, women tend to just be more liberal because of the natural state of what a woman is when a female is. You can't ask women to be women and when they act like women and go and lean more left and get mad at it, because that is just the natural. Women are more caring and empathetic, and they want to care about social issues and philanthropy in the world and all that stuff. That's what women do. That's how women are. And men are the opposite way. So men are usually going more right. And before, it wasn't so extreme where they would divide. It would marry in a way that was like perfectly paired. But now it's so divided and people are so tribalistic and so married to their political views and their ideologies that it's like even harder now for a liberal woman to want to date a guy who's very, very conservative, who has very, very stern ideas in their head of how he wants to live his life, how his family and his children, and how he wants relationships to be, and with the opposite of the liberal woman. Again, before it wasn't so divided. It was like, yeah, women might be liberal, but it's more like moderate liberal, and men might be more conservative, but it's more moderate conservative. Now it's so divided, and not just divided. Again, people are like literally cult members to their ideology, political ideologies on both sides of the coin. That it's harder for people to get together, and I think that divide is going to keep going and going and going. And I think also the more extreme the right goes with it comes to this sort of red pill ideology, they're just going to keep chasing women back to the left, because again, whether you are a woman who is a conservative or a liberal, you are a woman who wants your options and you want your freedom. And when you start to hear whispers from the other side going, well, we don't think that's a good thing that women have those things, you're going to scare women. So it's just going to keep, that divide is just going to keep bigger and bigger and bigger. And this sort of romanticization of, well, we need to go back to the 50s, we need to go back to the good old days, we need to like scare women off of birth control and like, scare them back into the kitchen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to ever happen. The Pandora's box has been opened. Women are not going to give up their rights. Women are not going to give up their birth control. Women are not going to give up their options. Is never going to happen. We have social media. We have a more connected world. So in your echo chamber, in your bubble, you can keep it all constrained there. But all a woman has to do is go like click on the next page and see that she doesn't have to do any of those things, right? We have too much information out there. We have too many options, too much freedom out there now. Before, you had a close-knit community where you had a narrative, you had an ideology, and it stayed contained in that narrative, in that community, where even if someone wanted to think they can do something different, they didn't really see the options, or they didn't really see anybody else talking about it. Now you have all of this information out there. It's just not going to happen. There will be communities out there who want to be more conservative, and there will be communities out there that's going to want to be more liberal, but you're not putting it back in a box. A lot of this talk about how it used to be, again, this over-romanticization of the 50s and the 60s, which again, the trad housewife was actually a fairly modern new thing back then, because even the days before that, when people were farmers, people were more farmers and laborers, a lot of times the men and the women worked side by side. Yes, there were still gender roles, but it wasn't this romanticized trad wife thing. That was more of a privileged thing. That was more of a modern thing. There were always gender roles, but it wasn't this romanticized trad wife thing that, the right tries to push all the time and say like, that's how it always was, and it wasn't always like that. Read your history. But anyway, it's over romanticized, and this idea that it's gonna one day exist again, it's just LARPing, and it's just pandering to your audience and selling them a fantasy so again they can buy your grift, buy your book, buy your fucking whatever, your seminar, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway guys, I really like that video. I really like Chris Williamson. I like Destiny. I don't like Destiny a lot when it comes to his political ideology, but I like Destiny in a lot of other ways, because I think he's willing to have a conversation. He's really willing to concede. He's willing to admit that he's wrong. And a lot of what Chris Williamson said earlier on, that people are, you know, look for the people who can admit that they're wrong about something. You don't see that a lot when it comes to any political talking head on either side, and that's why, like, I'm backing off a little bit from that stuff, because it's like yeah. Anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of this comment of this video, or what I said, what they said in the comments section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to get notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And you can support this channel. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below. And you can super thanks if you super thanks with a comment. I will read it in my next video. And you guys have an amazing, beautiful day.